This track has a question for you. Do you have what it takes? Are you ready to repeat? Can you live up to your father's legend? What's left in your tank? Do you understand your place in history?
Look how close they're getting here.
Is this test, this track too tough to tame?
Both leaders are out of it.
Something you're even ready for. Because if you don't know the answer, the lady in black does. She doesn't care if you're the king, the hometown hero,
Tail Yarbrough's over the wall.
or the intimidator. If you don't know the answer to your question, don't bother starting that engine. This is the Southern 500. This is Darlington Race Day Live.
Welcome to Darlington, South Carolina, home of Darlington Raceway and the Bojangles Southern 500. You're looking live at the track Too Tough to Tame, and it's time for you to buckle up and settle in. We have 5 hours of race day coverage coming your way starting now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Morano. Joining me are Julie Martin, Rick Henry, Michael Maley for the afternoon.
And we also have a big team of reporters all over the track bringing you the big stories leading up to the green flag.
So many great storylines coming up. What excites you guys the most here?
For me, really the throwback theme. It was so big last year, and I don't just mean the paint schemes, but the fans really getting into it. We've already seen a couple of people walking around here dressed up, so I think that's going to just add to all the excitement here at the track.
I'm really looking forward to the older guys. Jeff Gordon making another final run here at the track Too Tough to Tame, and then Tony Stewart. It's his final year here on the Sprint Cup circuit as well. Very curious to see how those guys wind up. Would love to see one of them go home with a win.
I'm looking forward to all of that too. Plus, I love the build-up from right now to when the green flag drops. You see a lot of people maybe you only see once a year right here at Darlington. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
And I can't say anything without talking about the engines. I'm a horsepower geek. I did some arithmetic. I pulled out the iPhone to help me out a little bit. 40 cars, 850 horsepower each. That's 34,000 horsepower when the green flag drops. You can't not feel it here. The energy's amazing. And, you know, with that energy that's amazing is the weather. Could we ever beat this? Unbelievable today. Let's get some more perspective from Jamie Arnold, who's inside our portable studio here to give us some insight. Jamie, it couldn't get any better than this, could it?
Yeah, absolutely, Michael, and hard to believe how good it is compared to how bad it was just 2 days ago. Friday, right here, 3.5 inches of rain, 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts, a lot of concern going into this weekend. Of course, that weather Friday was from Tropical Storm Hermine. We're actually thanking Tropical Storm Hermine today for this beautiful weather. It has worked its way out into the Atlantic Ocean, and on the backside of it, we're seeing that nice return of lower humidity and cooler temperatures. In fact, check it out right now in Darlington. Temperature just starting to creep its way up to that 80-degree mark. We'll work our way towards around 86, maybe 87 or so this afternoon. Pretty seasonable for the early part of September. The difference is that tropical humidity, it is out of here, and certainly a lot better than some of the other races we've seen here in Darlington. My WIS counterpart, Chief Meteorologist Rob Ellis, outside in the sunshine with a look back at some of the hotter and colder races here in Darlington. Rob?
Yeah, Jamie, you were talking about the humidity. By the way, it feels fantastic. The sun is a little bit on the warm side, but you mentioned seasonable temperatures. Yeah, 86, 87, that's right about where we should be for this time of year. It is not the hottest race we've seen here in Darlington. It's not the coldest race we've seen. What was the hottest? 100 degrees back in 1954. That was the hottest race they've seen. Now, of course, this race has been run both in the summer as well as in the spring. So when you talk about cooler temperatures, the coolest for the early September race was on this date back in 1967. That was 52 degrees. But when you talk about some of those spring races, that was 32 degrees. So a wide range in temperatures. You mentioned the rain from Hermine. Of course, not expecting any rain here today. If you had moved that date just a couple of days, you would have 3.5. The most we've ever seen, 1.4.
Guys, keep the sunshine coming. You're going to have a lot of friends today. That's great. Now, when it comes down to it, a lot of the storylines are about the drivers behind the wheels, but some of the biggest news this week has been about a driver that won't be taking the wheel. Dan Fanning has been tracking that all week long. Dan, what's the latest on Dale Earnhardt Jr. and from Hendrick Motorsports?
Joe, you're here back in April when Earnhardt unveiled his 88 paint scheme. Now, he is here at the track this afternoon, but that's right, he will not be racing. As you see behind me, the crew is getting the 88 ready for tonight's race. Now, Earnhardt Jr. announced on Friday with his team that due to his concussion-like symptoms, he will not be racing for the rest of the calendar year. Now, he's been in and out of rehab for what he thought were his allergies at first, but again, due to concussion-like symptoms, his season is over. Driving in the 88 tonight will be not somebody that's won once or twice here before, but 6 times. Jeff Gordon will be in the driver's seat tonight for the 88 car. Now, talking to his crew a little bit earlier, Jeff said he is ready for tonight's race, but he is worried a little bit about his restarts. Now, Earnhardt Jr. is at the track. He'll be talking to the media later this afternoon. We'll hear from Earnhardt Jr. later throughout the race. For now, guys, from the garage area, back to you.
And we're not just here for you on the air. We'll be tracking things all over social media. Mandy Knoll is in the production truck tracking all of your tweets and Facebook posts. Mandy, what's the best way for everyone to keep up with us?
Without a doubt, use the hashtag RaceDayLive because we have a team on social media dedicated to it. Right now, they're walking around the track. They're at the infield. They're taking pictures. They're posting them to this slideshow. In fact, if you take a closer look at this picture, this is the trophy. Someone's going to win this trophy tonight and get their picture added to that trophy. But like you mentioned, get a hold of us. Tweet, post on Facebook to hashtag RaceDayLive. As we're getting your pictures or your videos, it doesn't matter if you're at home, on your couch, you're tailgating at your friend's house, or you're here at Darlington tailgating on the infield. We want to see what you're doing. Share them with us, and we're going to share your pictures on the air throughout the show. Don't forget hashtag RaceDayLive. Julie, let's send it back outside to you.
Sounds good, Mandy. And you know, there is a lot of pride coming from fans, locals, and the businesses here. They all just love the Lady in Black, and Ken Baker joins us now to tell us why.
Well, Julie, the folks around here, they just love the Lady in Black because she's simply beautiful. Now, I've been talking to some folks in this area. They get so excited. You could say that the temperature changes, so to say, on race day.
Darlington Track, the Lady in Black, it's one of those iconic attractions that brings people in worldwide, and the PD having the Darlington Raceway here is really key to our tourism.
The folks who track all things tourism in this area over at the Florence Visitors and Convention Bureau tell me one thing that makes the track so special is that it is NASCAR's first track to be paved. Now, right now over in Florence County at the museum, you can actually check out a Cale Yarborough exhibit. It really tracks the man, the myth, and the legend and his connection to the track that's too tough to tame. Back to you.
All right, Ken, thank you. You know, we've got a lot to bring you over the next 5 hours, and we left it up to one reporter to go out there and scour the Lady in Black to find the most interesting and exciting things going ahead of the race. That's Amy Littman. Amy, what are you seeing right now?
I'm here on pit road, and these guys started getting set up this morning because what they do here in the pit can make or break a driver's race. And I'm standing here with the rear tire changer for NASCAR driver Kevin Harvick. This is Daniel Smith. He is here with us to tell us exactly what goes into getting pit road ready for the race later today. Morning. Tell me about.
Okay, so the garage opened at 11 o'clock, so that's when we'll come out the pit road and we'll start getting the pit boxes ready. And everything on the pit box has got to be able to fold in for transportation purposes. So these things are a lot like transformers, the way that they set up. So we'll have about 6 or 7 guys out here, and we'll start to get the electronics out, the cameras, satellite, get all the telemetry stuff set up on the pit box. That usually takes about an hour. And then as soon as we get that finished, we'll move over to the tires. Tonight we got 12 sets of tires. It's a long race, and so start getting those cleaned and prepped up and getting the lug nuts glued on them. And everything, like you said, is very critical out here. It can definitely easily win or lose you a race.
How quick do you want the pit stop to be?
11.5 and under would be a good pit stop.
And what goes into getting it to be in 11.5 seconds, because that is so fast?
A lot of years of practice and a lot of gelling between the guys. We call it dead time. There's a lot of dead time that you're trying to fill to get those stops as quick as possible.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. We really appreciate it, and good luck out here later. We'll send it back to you.
You know, we're always enjoying the tradition here at Darlington. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance surrounding the weekend. Let's not forget, this is a very important race when you look at the entire NASCAR season.
Very much so. A lot of guys comfortably in the chase for the Cup, but we do have a lot of drivers on the bubble entering tonight as well. Let's take a look at those point standings as they are right now. Kevin Harvick is 25 points ahead of Brad Keselowski, but it's Brad that actually leads the chase standings because the guy has won 4 times this year. Carl Edwards, remember, he won the Bojangles Southern 500 last year. He sits in 3rd. He's tightly grouped with Kurt Busch and Joey Logano. There could be shifts in the 3 through 5 slots depending on how tonight goes because they're all separated by just 8 points. Kyle Busch is 6th. He also has 4 wins, but he's failed to finish more races than any other driver in the top 20. So a lot of fun to be had later on, but a lot is at stake tonight.
Wow, that's a lot to keep up with, but we're going to fill you in on all of those guys and plus other drivers in the field throughout the show. 25 different driver profiles are headed your way from now to 6 o'clock.
It's Darlington Race Day Live.
Darlington Raceway is the center of the NASCAR universe for one weekend every year. It has seen the best of the best. And they've left their mark. Despite the name, too tough to tame, this track has met its match a few times. Cale tamed the beast better than most, and Jeff won up. Bobby Allison, David Pearson, Dale Earnhardt, they all gave this misshapen egg their best shot.
And we've got a spin and turn number 2, it's Earnhardt.
It won more of those fights than they did.
And we've got cars spinning all over the track. Both leaders are out of it.
This is the gathering place for drivers and fans. And there are plenty of ladies at the track today. A lady, a true Southern lady, demands attention and gets it. Unfortunately for these young women, only one lady will have the eyes on her as the sun sets, and she'll be dressed in black.
It is Labor Day weekend in Darlington, South Carolina, and that means one thing. Time to go racing at the Lady in Black. One more hour to go of Race Day Live coverage for you here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Morano, joined by Julie Martin, Rick Henry, and Michael Maley.
We have a full team here, not only here at the anchor desk, but around the track. And Mandy Knoll is monitoring all of the Race Day Live chatter on social media. Mandy.
Look at the track, but we got a ton of people outside who are able to do that. Personally, I'm in the air-conditioned trailer, and I'm going to get right to some social media pictures. We've got this hashtag Race Day Live. We want everyone to tweet us, even after this show is over. Continue tweeting us your pictures. We're going to continue to add them to our slideshow. Right now, I have the most flattering picture that our sports director Joe Morano has possibly ever taken. Joe, you look really good in this picture. Here's another one I want to share with you. Oops, I'm having a little trouble with my iPad. Amy Littman just posted this. The crowds outside are growing. The stands are getting full. This picture, one of my favorites. We have the trophy right outside our trailer. One of the drivers who wins tonight is taking this bad boy home, and their picture is going to be added to that. Now, this picture is especially special right now. You might recognize him as Greg Brady. He's also right outside of my trailer. We're going to be talking with him in just a minute, and someone needs to tell him that I want a selfie with him. Back to you guys.
Mandy, thank you so much. Really appreciate all that, and a lot of time to get your pictures in there as time winds down toward that race. We also have a team of reporters throughout Darlington Raceway. Dan Fanning has been in the pits, and you'll hear from him in a little bit. But right now, we're also joined by Joe Gorcho, who has a very familiar and popular guest this evening.
On Throwback Weekend, a special star from the 1970s will be singing the national anthem, Barry Williams, a.k.a. Greg Brady. It's your moment tonight at 6:06.
Yes.
When you dazzle us with the national anthem. Tonight, just talk about this opportunity, how it came about.
Well, first of all, the whole day is so exciting to be here, and the retro respect for all the greats that have made the sport what it is, and this wonderful track. It's a beautiful day, and I've been invited to represent the 1975 to 1984 era, and I'll kick things off with the national anthem right on the track, and they wheel a stage right out on the track, and go for it.
This is your first experience ever at a NASCAR race.
Yes.
What have you thought about it so far, just taking in the sights and sounds?
Well, I think it's the excitement that builds. I mean, it's about the fans here. A lot of them are dressed up 70s. I tried to bedazzle a little bit myself, too. And
I could use some myself afterwards if you have any left over.
Okay. I probably will, because I got plenty back there.
You're looking the part, and you're going to sing the part later tonight.
So I've been kind of paying attention to the fans and how excited they are, and they follow everyone, they know everyone, they know their cars, they know the numbers, they know their standings, and they're rooting for them, and it's passionate, and I love to see that passion.
And they're certainly passionate about you from the Brady Bunch. Greg Brady, Barry Williams, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck tonight. We'll enjoy your performance. 6:06, the singing of the national anthem. Back to the desk.
Oh, man, it's really big when you can get Greg Brady on your show. Now, in the grand scheme of things, tonight is all about the drivers, and only one driver is the defending Sprint Cup champion. Kyle Busch is already a four-time winner in 2016. His top finishes happen at Martinsville, Fort Worth, Kansas, and Indianapolis. It hasn't been all celebrations in victory lane for Busch, though. He's crashed out of 4 races, most recently at Bristol 2 weeks ago. That finish dropped him 2 spots in the points, but his 4 wins should keep him close to the top of the chase grid. Kyle has 15 top 10 finishes this year and 11 results in the top 5. Busch won the Southern 500 in 2008, and he's finished in the top 10 in 5 of the last 6 races here. Kyle has led at least 1 lap in 8 of his 11 Darlington starts, including leading 265 laps in 2013 before finishing 6th. Dale Jarrett fans will enjoy Busch's ride tonight. It's a replica of Jarrett's 1993 Daytona 500 winning design. It was the first win for Joe Gibbs Racing and Interstate Batteries.
All right, and with less than an hour to go now until race time, we are constantly checking in on the weather situation. We want to go to meteorologist Jamie Arnold now, and Jamie's been just beautiful out here all day. Anything to worry about as the night goes on?
Absolutely nothing, Julie. The radar is completely clear. In fact, the closest shower way up in Virginia, so absolutely no worries about any rain. The atmosphere above us is bone dry, so nothing expected to develop on top of us. We got those temperatures that are creeping their way up, reaching their peak of the day, right around 85, 86 degrees. But yeah, by South Carolina standards in September, that's not too bad. And I'll tell you what makes it even better, that is that lower humidity. And the temperature trend as we head through the rest of the evening, especially once we get towards sunset, is downward for those temperatures. In fact, getting quite comfortable, dropping into the 70s through most of the race.
Boy, that's so comfortable. Jamie, you said it right there. You know, the track has 2 new additions this year. Ken Baker got to check out what the museum added just in time for the Southern 500. Ken?
Well, Michael, new for you this year, Jeff Gordon's number 24 car, the one that won the Winston Millions. That's over there in the museum. And also, you can't forget about Dale Earnhardt's number 3 Goodwrench Chevrolet. That's in the museum as well.
Certainly accentuates on the past of the sport, the history of the sport. And what we want to try to do is get people from all walks of life to come through the museum, enjoy the history, learn more about the sport. And I think once you learn more about the sport, you come to appreciate it more.
So if you've never checked it out, I definitely recommend you stop by. A number of other race cars, movies, and pictures all tell that story of NASCAR, the past, the present, the future of Darlington. You'll also find interactive displays teaching you about NASCAR's finest drivers. The best part I love, folks, it's only $5, so make sure you stop by. Back to you.
Pretty good deal there for a special experience for sure. You know, drivers represent a lot of different things. They drive for themselves, for their families, for their teammates, for their sponsors. Jordan Anderson has set his sights on being NASCAR's representative of South Carolina.
They say driver, start your engine, and you flip that switch.
This isn't a place where dreams are born.
As a race car driver, you live for that moment when you crank the car up.
This is where dreams come true.
I see Daytona on the wall, and you look up at the grandstands, and it finally set in that, wow, this is Daytona.
Jordan Anderson is a dreamer.
So I'm like, wow, we're racing at Daytona.
Taking laps around Daytona International Speedway was just one of his dreams, and it almost didn't happen.
Truck out there now trying to get up there is Jordan Anderson.
Jordan was the last driver to qualify for this year's NextEra Energy Resources 250, the first race of the Camping World Truck Series season. But his lap was good enough. One dream crossed off his list.
I told my mom and dad I wanted to be a NASCAR driver at 6 years old, which for them, when I said that, they probably gave me the crazy eye. I think my mom probably raised her eyebrow and looked at me.
The dreams that live inside Jordan Anderson are rooted in South Carolina.
Went out to this track out in Pontiac, South Carolina, a little go-kart track out there, and I think I probably ran 5 or 10 laps in his go-kart and knew right then and there that was what I wanted to do.
Jordan was willing to do the work, and he's always had a community willing to back him.
The first sponsor I ever had was Dick Dyer. They have several car dealerships in the Columbia area, and I walked into his dealership as a 12-year-old kid and had my little brochure and pitched him my first sponsorship.
Dyer gave him $10,000 and told him to never settle for anything less than his biggest dreams. Now, it's not a local car dealer, it's the city of Columbia on the side of his truck.
Whatever track we go to, whatever NASCAR track we're at, you're carrying your whole hometown with you.
Jordan knows he's carrying the South Carolina flag with him as well.
And look how close Pearson is going to try to get him.
He wants to represent this state like the greats did in decades past.
And Cale has something left that closes the gate on him.
And I love to see the history of racing, of guys like Cale Yarborough, of David Pearson, Marty Lindley, all these guys that were from South Carolina that really had an effect on our sport.
And the last turn is in view. Cale Yarborough has the checkered flag out in front.
The support he gets has helped the up-and-coming driver grow in tremendous ways this season.
We went to every NASCAR race in that trailer last year, and it's so cool to compare it to what we had last year to the trailer we've got this year.
His fleet is bigger too. With trucks built for the track, he's racing week in and week out.
This is a specialty built super speedway truck, so it ran Daytona earlier this year.
But some of the help is far bigger than finances. His parents are making sure his dreams are realized every step of the way.
Where we're at and just sticking to this dream that I've got is because of my mom and dad and how they were and how they raised me as a kid. And I can never thank them enough for doing that and making me the person I am today.
And don't think that he's done dreaming because he already raced on NASCAR's biggest stage.
I'll never forget the first race that I ever saw. It was the 1997 Southern 500 at Darlington.
He wants to race much closer to home, just like his hero, Jeff Gordon, the winner of that Labor Day weekend race.
Darlington really is one of the main reasons why I'm here, because that was where I was first introduced to this sport. Like I said, I'd seen it on TV and I had the magazines and had seen it, but the first time I ever saw a car go around the racetrack and heard it and smelled the rubber and the fuel and everything, that was my first contact with it at Darlington.
For this dreamer, simply starting the engine at the track Too Tough to Tame won't be good enough.
It would be really neat to have my name one day etched in that trophy. I mean, that would be a career highlight for sure.